Hey guys, thank you for coming. Today we'll be having Kaspa and learning everything about Kaspa and Bubblegum, who is the PR manager for Kaspa, will be joining us and teaching us everything Kaspa. Just hold on tight for a couple minutes. We start at 3:05, just waiting for some people to get into spaces and waiting for the man himself as well. For those who are unfamiliar with the format of our AMAs, we have around 10 pre-picked. Oh, here is Bubblegum, adding you as the speaker. We have 10 pre-picked questions from Twitter. We will go over those, and then we will open up the chat for live ones. Hi, Bubble. How are you doing today?
Great, you guys. It's morning here in Eastern US. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good day out, and yeah, can't wait to talk Caspa.
Nice, nice. Let's hang for a couple more minutes for more people to get in. And for those who will be missing the spaces, we will be posting recaps both on X and YouTube, so nothing will be missed for anybody. Everyone will be able to catch up. While we wait, could you please give us a brief introduction about yourself and your role with the project?
Yeah, so my name is Bubblegum Lightning, or in IRL terms, I'm Nate Crowningshield. I'm the author of the Book of Caspa. I also do a lot of PR work and networking for Caspa. For like the main net. So I'll do a lot of PR stuff, do AMAs, outreach, communications, kind of like this kind of stuff. And my role is kind of like slowed down quite a bit now that we have new avenues, which is pretty amazing. We have like Cast Media, which is going to be like a publication for anything Caspa. I used to do like the Medium articles and stuff like that and do all the copywriting, but now we actually have pros doing it, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, so that's my role right now, and now I'm just doing this AMA.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. We'll have to learn more about that Casper publications and maybe get some stuff into it. Well, without further ado, let's start with the questions. First one up. What inspired the creation of Caspa and how does it differ from other cryptocurrencies in the market?
Yeah, so Caspa's kind of special because it's operating on a block DAG as opposed to a blockchain. And the differences between like a blockchain and a block DAG really aren't too much until you look at expanding like the blockchain. You want to make it like scale. When you have a blockchain, it's just kind of like blocks in a row and they're tied together. And occasionally you'll get two blocks that create at the same time. One will be an orphan, and the consensus will choose the other one to be part of the main chain. So that orphan there is, kind of problems. It's an avenue for attack. It's kind of waste of energy, of resources, because now we're computing this block that's not going to be incorporated into the chain. So what Caspa decides to do is to keep these orphan blocks and link them in the chain. And not only that, we can have multiple orphan blocks. And this allows us to crank up the blocks per second. So when we're cruising along in the blockchain, all of a sudden we'll have like maybe one or two orphan blocks stacked on top of each other, or even three. And what will happen is these will get linked back down to that main chain. So you'll see, like on the block tag visualizer, these lines that kind of open up into multiple blocks and they'll come back together. And what this ultimately does is let us put through faster block speeds. And with these faster speeds, we're noticing all kinds of new benefits, like preventing front running attacks, sandwich attacks. We have censorship resistance. We're going to have some MEV resistance with smart contracts in the future. And yeah, much more to come. And the throughput's going to be, I think on testnet, we were putting through like 3,000 TPS. which is already better than a good chunk of proof of stake and matches the numbers of Visa.
Awesome, fascinating. Definitely always awesome to see and hear projects that doing something different, something that makes it stand out and just coming their own route. Well, let's continue with the questions. I read that Kaspa was designed to be 100 times faster than Bitcoin, which sounds quite interesting. So what technology have you implemented to ensure the achievement of this great feat? What is the speed of transactions done on Kaspa Network? What exactly is the fee structure within your ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So, in order to get the block DAG to work, as I mentioned, we're pretty much running on the block DAG. They came up with the Ghost DAG consensus mechanism. So you can't just have a block DAG and or like a DAG structure and hope it works. You need a consensus to make it work, and Ghost DAG was the solution. And with Ghost DAG, we're looking at 1 block per second right now, probably about 250 transactions per second. Um, but of course, we are going to be pushing this onto Rust soon, which will be still 1 block per second, but now we're going to be running on Rust. And after, shortly after that migration goes good, we're hoping to speed up to 10 blocks per second. And that will give us that 3,000 transactions per second that we were talking about before. Per UTXO, I think the transaction fee is 0.001. I always mess this up. There's always like a zero or a 0 1 combination for the fee. So it's like 0.0001 Kaspa per UTXO. And it's remarkably cheap. Even if I'm not quoting it right, it's crazy cheap. And we do this right now because most of it is running on block rewards, but with the ecosystem developing and KRC20 on the horizon, smart contracts and whatnot, with the crazy throughput speeds that we're shooting for, these fees are going to be, not that small once we get things moving. It'll be small for the user, but it won't be too small for the miner. At least that's the hopes as we have it set up right now.
Very interesting. Yeah, the fees, especially since the latest Bitcoin event, the fees all aboard has been pretty crazy. So definitely interesting to see how will you guys solve that scalability issue with the faster 3K TPS solution and the overall fee structure. Anyways, let's continue with the questions. What differentiates the Kaspa wallet from other similar blockchain wallets in the crypto ecosystem? Is this wallet designed to support a limited blockchain network? Can other assets aside from Cas coin be stored on this wallet?
Okay, so there's actually a slew of wallets that support Kaspa. There really is only, I would say, 2 wallets, maybe 3 wallets that are considered, Kaspa community funded and supported wallets, meaning they were there from the beginning of development all the way through, or they help fund it, or what have you. And that's Caspium, KNG, KDX, and I can't remember if Castware's has been there since the beginning or not, or if they're their own venture. But Castware is our browser wallet. So we have Caspium, which is mobile, and KNG KDX, which is our web and desktop wallet. Now, KNG is the new version of KDX for those that are using KDX. So you will be checking that out. Actually, you don't have to, but it's recommended to check that out because it has really cool block tag visualizers and any metric that you wish to have. With KRC20 coming out, I believe Castware is implementing software in order to accept these ordinals, these Kaspa ordinals, which is I think it's KRC20 and KRC721, I believe, which is going to be the KRC20 is the token, and the KRC721 is going to be like the NFTs. And I believe support with Castware wallet is like their priority right now. So they're getting that online, I believe, as we speak, and they're putting through beta testers. But yeah, I believe that's going to be the first and maybe only wallet that's working on that right now. That I'm not 100% certain on, but I know like the minting capabilities and the support to actually see it in your wallet is going to be there.
Very cool. Yeah, I've heard about KNG going into beta. Is it already in the beta state or is it just getting there soon?
Which wallet?
The KNG one, the one with the minting capabilities?
Oh yeah, KNG I believe is actually fully released now. If not, it is probably like a beta. Like might be a little bit buggy on some aspects, but I believe it's open for anybody to use.
Awesome, awesome. That's the one that has all those interesting things and visualizing the block deck, right?
Yes, that's the one with all the curvy lines. It's really, it's beautiful eye candy to see. You'll see it like the blocks settling as it goes up and down on the y-axis, and then all these connections aren't straight lines. They're actually like these nice sweeping curvy ones. It kind of looks like DNA, like getting unspun.
Cool. Yeah, because I've seen some pictures of it like in development, but haven't really get to see it in the active state. By the way, just a side question about BlockDAG and GhostDAG. What would be a good resource for people to learn more about it? Because I'm sure a lot of people are clearly have very little to no idea like what it is and how does it really work and just where they can learn more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those things where you touch the surface and it looks cool, but then you actually don't realize how deep these things go until you figure out that this mud puddle you could put your hand under, and now it's just like this big depth of ocean underneath you. Um, So it really depends on how deep and far you want to go. If you're very like science minded, computer minded, you want to know the math, you want to really dig deep. I would start with the Ghost Dag paper, which is you could just Google Ghost Dag, and in one of the links you'll see like a paper to the ArchiveX page, and you could take a look at that. For most people, that kind of looks like hieroglyphics, like a bunch of math and um, all these crazy math symbols and characters and formulas, and that kind of just looks like mumbo jumbo. So another option I would start then is either take a look at Kaspa.org, if there's news articles there, or you can hop into the Kaspa Discord or Telegram. We take questions all the time, and happy to answer any questions you may have. There's also a cool YouTube that Caspa Silver puts out. So if you're like a visual learner and you just want to listen to somebody talk about it, his channel's really promising. He does a lot of you know new and entry level type stuff to teach you how to use Caspa, what it's about, and yeah, it's a good. I'd say the YouTube is probably the most beginner friendly.
Yeah, awesome. We'll make sure to share all those links in the recap or somewhere so people can get it. Yeah, I think I know the paper they refer to. I think I only managed to get past the abstract, and then that was about it for me.
Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat with you. I've given
Yeah,
a,
but
a couple
yeah, it,
tries, but once we get into like formulas and stuff, like I'm not a visual kind of guy. I can't picture this stuff. So if I have to remember like a parameter as I read, I'm like, man, I'm already lost.
yeah, exactly. Those are very technical. I feel it's like, but it's still great that we have those accessible and people are actually make sense of them and make like build based on those basically on those things. Anyways, let's continue with the questions, and the next one is of course related to the block DAG. How does Casper ensure immediate inclusion of transactions in its ledger, and what are the technical advantages of its block DAG structure?
So with that block DAG structure, as we were talking about already, we could put through a crazy amount of blocks. So you could put through 1 block per second, and of course, with all those blocks, you're filling with transactions. So once you have that block hit on the block DAG with your transaction, it like has a confirmation in like a second. And then in 10 seconds, it finalizes. So as it goes, what's cool about creating all these blocks is you get like a confirmations from every different direction. So you're getting like nodes all over the world in different aspects. Verifying these transactions all at the same time, and there's going to be a future prospect that we're really excited for called Dag Night that's going to speed this process up even more so. because it'll self-address to latency. So what that means is like as the network gets better throughout the times, throughout the day and age, it will, eventually predictably get faster. So Caspa will also get faster as well to be kind of future proof. And then of course, if like a storm hits and the infrastructure goes down, it will actually slow down as well. A self address, it like kind of detects it, and that's to preserve security. So it will slow down and adjust accordingly. And you're seeing this problem a lot with Bitcoin right now. When it first came out, everybody's like, "Wow, this is great! Like 10 minutes is pretty fast." But then as life goes on, and you're like, "Man, I'm really thinking about it. This is never going to work for a drive-through. Like you can't just wait 10 minutes in a drive-through. Where's this internet experience? Where's our peer-to-peer currency we're all looking for? I'm sick of paying gas with fiat." So that is, one of the primary initial goals to launch Kaspa is, to get what we are promised with that peer-to-peer currency and keep it decentralized. And since it defeats the blockchain dilemma, you have your 51% security against the 51% attack, and then your consensus mechanism doesn't make any sacrifices to security or throughput, scalability, or anything like that. So it's really trying to give us what we were initially promised in the peer-to-peer currency land. And then also on top of like the greater DeFi, once we see smart contracts, KRC20 land, it's going to be really interesting, with MEV resistance is a big topic right now. And once that fully develops, we should have MEV resistant smart contracts and rollups.
Awesome. Yeah, fascinating. Makes a lot of sense, especially when you put it in terms of, 10 minutes wait time will not work through for drive-through, and that's exactly a big reason I think, especially for the non-crypto people, that they don't really understand how this all should work. Well, you obviously you can't use Bitcoin to drive through, get gas, buy coffee just because of the wait times. It would be crazy. But definitely interesting to see the implementation of the block deck structure in order to kind of get from that scalability issue that pretty much every other project out there is it's up there to solve that problem. All right, let's continue on with the questions. Community involvement is essential to Kaspa's development and growth. As seen through initiatives like Rusty Kaspa, RK, and the Community Marketing Fund, CMF, how do these initiatives empower community members to contribute to Kaspa's ecosystem, and what impact have they had on the network development so far?
Well, what's really great about like the CMF DAG night and this Rust rewrite that we're going through right now is it was all community funded. It was all crowdfunded through our Discord, and you can hop on Discord and even see like the past on that and how it works, how we structured it and whatnot. And this is kind of like a living thing. We continue to crowdfund till today. We're actually looking even into revamping the crowdfund process just to streamline it a little more. But what's really cool is like you're putting the power to the people. Instead of having right now, we're really like a loose governance. We're kind of like the purest a DAO can be. Like you have to exercise your voice if you want to, make changes, which is, great because it's already a filter in itself. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when you're voting on these proposals and stuff, they need to get funded. And this funding in itself is the tangible vote. Like if they actually get funding, that's always the first, the last hurdle. And once that happens, that's like the go ahead. Okay, we're really doing this. This is great. We got the funding, we got the support, and now we're going to Rust. And without crowdfunding such as this, we wouldn't have like the Rust rewrite at the point in time that we have it now. Maybe it would have come later, but it would probably be much later. But by enabling the crowdfunding process and the way our community governance is now, it's kind of put us on the map to where we are today. Looking at the number 25 ranked spot on CMC or wherever it is now. I haven't checked today, but I just know that was like within a week. That's where we were. And this is all pretty much through community support. And even though we crowdfund the CMF, which is Community Marketing Fund, a lot of it goes to like merchandise and ambassadors and merchants and try to get them some physical support with stickers, buttons, signage. It helps with getting events together, stuff that's like in the physical world, where on the digital world, we're really organic. Everybody that's, like on Twitter or has the capability to, carry the word and do outreach through socials is just everybody in the community. And what's really cool about that is since we are this crowdfunded model, we don't pay for any marketing at all, because first we had no boundary to do so, like we didn't have the funding to do so, but also when you pay a lot of marketing, it kind of just goes to bots. It's like a bot world now, and your message isn't actually making it to real eyeballs. It's going through bots, and that's not beneficial at all. Yeah, we'll have like maybe the follower account, but if the only people that are witnessing it are bots, it's not very impactful. So by having this organic and grassroots initiative where people are actually going out there and physically sharing and stuff, they're actually sharing to other eyeballs. They're actually sharing to other people. They're getting into discussions with other people, and this is organically just keeps growing and expanding. And people that are most of the time when people like first see it and they look into it, they see that block tag, and it's just like it's really eye-opening that this is probably the future. This is like where cryptocurrency is going. And we've had like 1 million people that are forking off of it, it seems, off of the Golang code, because it's all open source. And it seems like the block tag is in great demand, and it's proving that this is probably going to be the future. Everybody wants a piece. So that would never have been to the point and circumstance of what it is today, to like the magnitude that it is today, without the community and the community model that we have with Kaspa.
Fascinating. And right, you're speaking about organic growth, and I completely 100% on board with you on that. There's a lot of very overhyped marketing in especially everywhere, but especially in Web3. You see some projects and it's all marketing, marketing, marketing. They have 100,000 followers there, 100,000 followers there, and then it's not real people. It's all bots, and then they go to all these media sections, pay insane amount of money to get the news out, get the press releases out, and then it's just all hyperinflated without any actual innovation, without any organic growth. And sadly, there's so many projects like this, but I really hope that in the near future there will be less of that. But it's proven that with every bullish cycle we get a lot of projects like this. But I 100% agree that organic growth is the way for long-term sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, it gives the people like the power of having a stake. They have a say in what they think Caspa should be. They have, their own individual voice of why they think Caspa is the project to go to. Some people might think it's DeFi. Some people might think, hey, it's, the best thing since this Bitcoin. There's all kinds of these like different nuances, and the more you see people capitalize on it and expand and voice why they love it, the more participation you get from others, because now they're like, hey, I like it for this, or I like it because it's got KRC20 and I just love ordinals. And when people actually, see this stuff, they tend to put their own effort in and why they like it. And we kind of breed that. So like enthusiasts kind of breed more enthusiasts. And with this organic style, it's really powerful.
Yeah, for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Rust migration and everything was completely community marketing and there's community based initiative, right?
Yeah, it's a completely community-based initiative for Rust. The community marketing fund wasn't even in existence when Rust was funded. It came after, and what that is pretty much, hey, we have a marketing guy. He's a business. He actually runs a business, so he's got people working for him. But if we, contribute to him, and this marketing fund will have this open pool of money for ambassadors and stuff, and whatever kind of merchants, whatever support we need. And then also we'll get, as you see, like Infinite Graphics. He's the one that actually made the Kaspa logo. And is pushing through like these videos and multimedia stuff. So he's gotten a bunch of things started, like Rock the Kaspa is a YouTube channel. He was a big person to push that forward and get that developed. And then, of course, like any ambassador you see online, wouldn't have existed until he put the ambassador program into place.
Awesome, that's great. All right, let's keep going with the questions. We have actually have a bunch left, and then we'll open up the chat for the live ones. What are the current plans for implementing smart contracts and NFTs on the Kaspa network?
Okay, so we did touch on NFTs a little bit. So NFTs will be coming first with KRC20, I believe. This is Casplex. It's a software that's going to be an indexer and the capability to mint on Kaspa. And KRC20 is the token, and KRC721 is the NFTs. I don't believe the NFTs are coming out first. I think it's just the tokens first. I would have to double check. I usually like research things as they come out because I don't like to get too far ahead. Things change in development, so I try to like have what's set in stone when it comes out without expending too much energy in all kinds of different directions. So we'll see NFTs like ordinals, like Bitcoin ordinals on Kaspa probably fairly soon. There is a roadmap that they have on Casplex. So if you Google Casplex, they have a site and there's a roadmap on there, I believe. So you can see that. As far as smart contracts goes, we are still in process of migrating over to Rust, and Jonathan has some really cool concepts he's still got to share with the Discord. However, he's an insanely busy man and traveling. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks here, I'm going to get his attention into the Discord, and he's gonna talk about smart contracts, his plan more. And then he had a Israel meetup. If you guys want the current standing of info now, it's all in Hebrew, but it is you got closed captions for English, so you could check that out if you want the current info on this now. But we're really looking at this MEV-resistant smart contract idea that he's going to be pushing out, and still waiting to hear more on the best way to approach it. And I think like some of this is still work in progress, but yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Cool, awesome. And regarding NFTs, just another side question. Are they going to be just regular NFTs, just like we've seen on, Ethereum network, or are they going to be slightly different or bringing something new to the space?
Well, they're going to kind of be like Bitcoin's ordinals at first. Now, as far as like the capabilities, I'm not sure. I think that's going to be really dependent on the people that are bringing the software along with it. For minting capabilities, I know there's, from just my past understanding, you can just mint an NFT with whatever information you want on it. But then if you wanted to like have utility after the fact, you would have like a software that would, search for this NFT. And if you have ownership of it, let's say it gets you access to a website or something like that. So as far as like the second tier of utility and stuff, I believe that's going to be dependent on the third party software or the project that's running these. But I'm not 100% sure, and they're not out yet. So we'll have to look for that more. I can imagine they're just going to be like kind of like basic art NFTs. Somewhat like Bitcoin ordinals to start with, and once the ecosystem like matures and gets better, we should see more capabilities from it. But I don't see any limitation as far as my understanding of these Casplex NFTs.
Awesome. Yeah, well, the comparison with Bitcoin ordinals makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure just in people's heads, it's something that's been around for a bit of time now, and people kind of getting a grasp on those. Although, to be honest, I'm personally not a huge fan of the whole ordinals and just extra load on the Bitcoin network. It's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not necessarily the most useful thing, especially but with just at times how crazy the network gets and how expensive the fees has been recently, especially. All
Yeah.
right.
So, and I mean, they actually really got throttled last summer. But one thing that's really cool is Kaspa can take this, this beating, and it'll do it with, remarkable stride too. It won't even feel it. So pushing through some heavy transactions is what Kaspa's all about.
Awesome. No, this is great. It's the best of both worlds essentially. All right, next question up. What is the role of the K heavy hash algorithm in Kaspa's consensus at security?
K heavy hash is an algo that was designed with optical proof of work ASICs in mind. So optical proof of work and OPOW ASICs were always considered when Caspa was first written. And this algorithm allows for optical miners to work, with, well, I had it in mind for optical miners to work. So it's a pretty simple algorithm. And when CPU mining, GPU mining, and now ASIC mining has, taken off, we've also found that it's very core heavy, not memory heavy. So it doesn't generate much heat. So it generates minimal heat for the amount of calculations and effort that it puts out, which is also showing that it's really energy efficient. You don't need as much cooling. You still need cooling, of course, but it's like you don't have to go as hardcore on the cooling. You can make residential ASIC miners, which is we're seeing when it first came out. When ASICs first hit the market, they look like almost like a little router box, and it's all metal and insanely quiet. So you can mine from your home, your apartment, just like a GPU miner, and keep that decentralization. So if you had any regional locked areas like big cities or whatever, and you're in a little studio apartment, you can't cook yourself in your apartment with an ASIC. You can get one of these residential ASICs, which put off, much less heat, and it's really kind of like been a boon for decentralization and getting people to transfer over to ASICs because now they're a fraction. These residential ASICs are like a fraction of a cost of a GPU, and the KA box, which is from Gold Shell, I think is probably about the same as a high-end GPU or mid-tier GPU.
Awesome, great. I hope that made sense for people who are interested in that question because I just basically did not understand majority of it because I've never been really into mining, so I'm like, okay.
Okay, so if you guys are into proof of work mining, there's always the big debate on whether or not to stay on GPU and resist ASICs, or go to ASICs. Now, ASICs tend to be like they end up getting crammed into server farms and stuff like that, and you'll get like a server or a warehouse of like a bunch of miners. Which is a form of centralization and makes point to an extent, and then they have like the benefits of economies of scale, which means you buy in bulk so you would get it cheaper, and that's a little more competitive than people like. Or we could stay GPU, and anybody with a computer can mine. Now you could still stack these GPUs up into like a server farm or whatever. But any person in the world that has a gaming computer could also participate and mine. And that's kind of like usually the debate when it comes to decentralization. Do we want to take out a bunch of people that cannot any longer run ASICs because they live in an apartment or whatever, where they could mine with a GPU? Or do we go to ASICs because these guys are plugged in, they're stationary, they're very secure, and they're not going anywhere? They're kind of brick and mortared in for security. Where when you're a GPU miner, it's easy just to unplug from that network and go to a different one, and then unplug from that one and then go to a different one. They kind of like hop around. So it's not that consistent hash rate, and hash rate is security. Now, what's very cool is with these residential ASICs, you can now mine just like as you had a GPU. So if you are a GPU miner now and you've been resisting going to ASIC, you could do it just as simple, if not simpler, than a GPU miner now. So you just buy this little box, you plug it into the internet, and bam, you're good to go. Even our PR guy, he has KS0, and he set it up, and it was super user friendly. And he's always boasting about it because if he can do it, then anybody can do it.
Okay, thanks for deciphering it for us layman's in the mining terms. Definitely makes a lot of sense now. All right, we have two more questions left, and then we'll open up the chat for live ones. What governance model does Kaspa employ, and how can token holders participate in decision-making processes? How does Kaspa engage with its community to gather feedback and incorporate it into the project's development?
Yeah, so if you have a voice and you are talking about Caspa, you're pretty much in the governance. You there is no like governance token. You don't need to hold anything. What you really need to do is participate. So primarily, the Discord is the best place for governance, but anybody can voice concerns anywhere, and if it's got merit, it'll make it to the Discord. Or you just hop over to the Discord. And when it comes to governance, like we mostly hash out the hard questions on the Discord. And that's because we don't have like this fully fleshed out ecosystem yet. I could see maybe someday it going something more complex. But for right now, it is really open ended, and you pretty much just need to exercise your voice. When you get into the Discord, if you're proposing something like a change or whatever, there's also votes. And then if you need funding, we also crowdfund. So most of that is all done on Discord, but if you have a voice, you're already participating in our governance.
Great, awesome, plain and simple, just how any DAO should be, really. And I believe the last question we kind of touched upon beforehand. How does Kaspa ensure a high number of miners and nodes participate in the network, and what incentives are in place to maintain this level of decentralization?
So we did touch on it with the ASIC miners and what's cool about the residential miners. But another aspect of Caspa that's really fighting for decentralization is the block speed. So right now, if you mine if you're mining right now, you get let's say you get like a block a day running at 1 BPS, which is 1 block per second. Once we increase that to like 100 blocks per second, you should be getting 100 times more blocks, but for a less reward. So you'll probably, I'm just in theory saying that, I guess I'm not like doing proper math here. You should get 100 blocks per day at the same reward rate as that 1 block. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot when I just say it like that. But when you are getting like less than 1 block per day, let's say you're getting 1 block per week, you may reliably not get that block in the week because it's like you still have a chance factor of whether or not you're going to get that block. And if you're relying on these funds to come in to keep your miner going and your business sustainable, if you have like a mining business, you need these reliable rewards. And what people tend to do is they go to mining pools and they'll mine there in order to get like a reliable reward. So what you're doing now is you're kind of centralizing into a pool. You're also paying a fee, and you have greater latency because you're mining to a pool. It's not at your house. It's probably somewhere else, maybe somewhere in the States, Asia, wherever you're located. If you mine a distance, you're going to have some latency. So what Caspa does to encourage this is we're going to be pushing through more blocks. So you're going to have more reliable funds. So the chances of you hitting a block is going to be greater now. And you don't need a pool to get these rewards to stay sustainable. On top of that, we want you to mine your own nodes. The perk of you hosting your own node and mining it is you have zero latency. And when you're in a really highly competitive area like mining, even latency matters. So it'll encourage you to mine to your own node. And if the latency isn't enough of a motivator to mine your own node and increase decentralization, avoiding a pool fee is going to motivate you to mine your own node. Because now when you mine on like a pool, you have to pay like a fee, like a certain amount of that goes to the pool in order to keep them up and running and pay their costs for maintaining a node. Now you could do it yourself and do it for free, and you just mine with zero latency.
That is cool. That's definitely a good incentive for, keeping up the mining rates pretty much high within the population. Alrighty, looks like we've done with the pre-picked questions. Let's grab some live ones while we have time. I'll try to figure out who's been here since the very beginning. I think this person has been here since minute one. Great, adding you as a speaker. Great, you can speak now.
All right, thank you so much for bringing me up. Actually, it's been an informative AMA session, I must say. So, while this AMA is going on, I actually went through Kaspa website. So, under the your mobile and web wallet, I actually check whether I could see if you have a staking future in your wallet. So I couldn't get it. So I don't know, because me, I'm a kind of person that likes like making money passively. So if you have a staking future in your wallet, please can you share some light? And also I would like to know whether there is, that's if there is, I would like to know like if there is minimum or maximum amount of token of your Casper token required for the staking. And I would like to know the risks involved. Thank you.
Okay, so Kaspa is a proof of work network, not a proof of stake network. So it has no native staking. The way to, like, if you want to compare like apples to oranges, the way to stake would be to buy a miner. You invest in a miner, it mines the network, and then you get rewards. It's kind of the same process, but you need hardware to mine the coin instead of staking. Now, that is just native Kaspa. As far as like where other tokens can go, maybe they can incorporate a staking or whatnot, but as Kaspa stands, just like natively, there is no such thing as staking because it's a proof of work network.
All right, thank you. But please, before I go, uh, any plans on adding like NFT futures in your wallet?
Yeah, that's going to be the KRC 721. And Casware is looking at incorporating the tokens, so I could see them doing the NFTs as well.
All right, thank you so much. I wish you good luck in your project.
Thank you, Gray. Okay, let's get someone else who has been here since very early. I think this person has been here since very early. Toki S. Toki $, adding you as a speaker. You can speak now, you have to unmute yourself. There's a little microphone thingy on the left side of your device. Okay, looks like some technical issues. Let's get someone else meanwhile. Lynn, adding you as a speaker. Or Ziza. Yes, you can speak now. We can hear you well.
Me up to ask Kaspar my question. My question is that what role do industry pioneers play in the ongoing evolution of Caspar, and how does community involvement shape its trajectory? And how does Caspar approach it to transaction confirmation, improve user experience, and application performance in real world scenarios? Thank you.
Okay, so we hit on most of those. The industry pioneers, we have Jonathan Sampolinsky, Shira Borsky, and Michael Sutton are like the main researcher developers. But then there's a slew of other developers like Aspect and stuff. And these guys all have been in the crypto scene for years. Jonathan Sampolinsky has been quoted in numerous papers, going from ETH, I think Solana, Avalanche, and stuff. That he's been cited from his papers. And so we have a slew of OGs. Now, these aren't just like your normal run-of-the-mill developers that are kind of like just cypherpunks that have been doing it as a hobby and now they're kind of enthusiasts. These guys are actually like legit researchers and developers and hardcore mathematicians. So they write papers, like formal papers, and they're out there for viewing. And Dag Knight was written by Jonathan Sampolinsky and Michael Sutton. And then Ghost Dag, I think it was Jonathan, a few others, and also Shy. So you'll see all their names like in these papers as you research more. So as far as the industry pioneers, they're very academic and research oriented and do a ton with colleges and the bleeding edge tech. So you will see much like more formal publications, and the way they explain and talk to stuff is going to involve hardcore formulas. And I think Jonathan works for Harvard and University of Israel. And so I think that's covering that. As far as the other things, we talked about the transactions, confirmations, and I forgot the other part of the question, but I'm pretty sure we covered that as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for the detailed answer.
Thank you for your question. Let's get some more. We have some time left. Bubblegum, feel free to cut me off whenever you want to. I'm just aiming for this 1 hour mark, per usual. But if you want to go early, no rush. I think we were pretty comprehensive. Let's find someone who has been here since the beginning. I think this person has been here early. JR, adding you the speaker now. JR, you can speak now. You have to unmute yourself. Oh, looks like some technical issues here and there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you so much. So, it's been informative so far. So my question to the team is about I checked your roadmap and I saw about the Dank Night. So I've been wondering, and I've not heard you talk about it. So can you give us more insight about the Dank Night and the advantage that it's going to bring to your platform when it's been implemented?
Yeah, sure. So again, this is going to be a consensus mechanism that's going to make the Kaspa the very first parameterless network. And when we say parameterless, what it is usually you have a set parameter for latency. And this latency will have like a high end and a low end, like a high speed, like if latency's at this speed, like too slow, we're going to put like a parameter there. So we guess where the latency is going to be, and it's like a lower bound and an upper bound. And what's happening is most cryptos do this, and it's for security, because if you want to kind of guess where latency is going to be, because if it wiggles around and stuff, if it leaves these parameter bounds, you risk security. Like the security can be crushed. So by taking these bounds out, you need to know like where latency is going to be in order to assure the security. So Dag Knight is going to actively detect where latency is at, according to the network. So when like a healthy network infrastructure is, goal will be as fast as we possibly can be, and then if it's like slowing down, will be even, it'll slow down accordingly without risking security. Now, as you see with like Bitcoin this day and age, it seems increasingly slow, and it's hard to speed up because of these bounds. So you can't really just like speed it up kosherly without like sacrificing security, and that's due to these parameters. Of course, with some other complicating things too, but I'm trying to like generalize it.
All right. So does the K-heavy hash algorithm help to achieve this, or is it a different perspective? The K-heavy hash algorithm, does it help also?
Well, K-heavy hash is just an algorithm for mining. It doesn't really help in any sense other than like what's cool is it's kind of a green algorithm because it runs cool. But that algorithm could always change if the community wanted it to. Like if we wanted to change to something cool, or high tech, there's that potential too. It would that would create like a consensus vote with miners as it stands right now. But so yeah, K heavy hash is just the algo to mine. And it was originally for like these optical miners, but I believe if we still want to do optical mining, we would have to update the algo again because they've refined it since.
Wow, that's interesting. Thanks so much, and keep building.
Thank you, JR, for your questions. Let's get one more because I feel we're kind of starting to go in circles a little bit. Benjamin, and you're the speaker. Benjamin, you can speak now. You will have to unmute yourself.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can ask your question.
All right. How does the Kaspa plan to integrate smart contracts, and what are the technical challenges associated with doing so?
Yeah, so smart contracts is going to be timeout still. In the meantime, there's going to be the KRC20 and KRC 721, which is the tokens and NFTs that most people are looking, to get involved with when it comes to smart contracts. But hopefully within the next week or two, we'll have even more information on smart contracts from Jonathan. It was discussed in the past by Y that potentially we could take two avenues. It's just a matter of what we could do first. We could do both, which is probably what would happen. But it's just like, what do we want to work on first? Do we want to work on smart contracts that are compatible with ETH? Or do we want to just go straight to native? And both can be achieved. It's just a matter of like, which direction do we want to, approach first to conserve manpower and make it most efficient? And when we have them work on ETH, and then we're treated as like the sequencer for the ETH settlement, we could start like migrating and commingling with all of ETH's DeFi much more cohesively, and actually start moving DeFi back and forth. And people that hate like major gas fees and high fees on Ethereum can enjoy Kaspa, Kaspa's low fees and stuff.
All right. All right. Can you explain the design choices behind the Kaspa's hash function and how it compares to other hash functions used in cryptocurrencies?
I think we've kind of beaten that one down a lot. The only thing that's really different is that K heavy hash was the first. And there's some new networks that are, I think there's maybe one network using K heavy hash, but right now it's still very unique and, identifies with cash, but just about solely.
Awesome. Thank you, Benjamin, for your questions.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Bubblegum Lightning, I think we've done it. It's been very comprehensive and cool to learn everything Kaspa. I'm sure there will be a lot new developments in the near future, and we will be happy to organize another session, maybe in a text format sometime soon. So keep keep an eye open for that. And for everyone who is missing today's session, we will be posting a recaps both on X and YouTube shortly, and we'll of course add all the useful links about that we've discussed during the session.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I think this is our second AMA we've done with StealthEX. I think I did the last one too. But
Maybe you're right. We've been doing quite a lot, and I'm usually hosting those. I think we've done a text one, right? That's why I'm kind of out of the loop with
maybe
this
it
a little
was
bit. I
text.
think,
I don't know. It was like a year
yeah,
ago.
yeah, I think it was a text. Well, we can keep it a yearly tradition, so to speak.
Yeah, cool. Always happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for the session, and thank you for all the listeners. Keep an eye out for the winners for 2 best questions. We will be posting them shortly as well.
All right. Thanks for having me,
All
man.
right.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.